Hi, hello. Welcome to Dear PB, a podcast where we hopefully help you become a better speedrunner, but probably won't. I'm Corbin May, but you can call me May, or she, or her.
I'm Soos. You can call me SWC, or he, or they.
And joining us from Mafia Town, it's FMOptimist.
Hello.
Introduce yourself.
Oh yeah, I'm FMOptimist. I go by she and they, and I speedrun a Hat in Time very actively. And today I'm going to be showcasing the ATP base category, which is where you get all the timepieces in the game and the base levels, DLC not included.
So last week we did the Pokemon episode, which was very self-indulgent for us. And this week we're doing the Hat in Time episode, also very self-indulgent. We're nothing if not consistent in our self-indulgence. So if you're not aware, this is a podcast where you send in questions and we answer them. And if you're listening to it on podcast, audio-only format, there's a YouTube where you can also watch the run that's being done. If you're listening to it on YouTube, watching it on YouTube, that's what you do on YouTube. There's an audio version if you want to not watch the speedrun and listen to it on the go and stuff. But let's just start your run so we can start our show.
All right.
You can start whenever you're ready, and I will try to match the timing because I know when Hat starts.
I just started.
Yeah, it is.
You're good.
Okay, that's perfect.
All right.
Oh my god, it's so delayed on my end.
Oh gosh.
It's like 20 seconds behind.
All right. So while you're doing extremely technical movement,
yes.
How did you get into speedrunning?
Ooh, that is a funny story. So it actually did start with this game for me. And I haven't really branched off since, but so when the Yakuza DLC was released for this game, there was an online party mode. So it's actually a funny story. I originally wanted to get this game when I saw the 2018 GDQ speedrun done by Flair and Connor Ace. And so I saved up, got a PC, got the Yakuza DLC, and started playing online party. And from there, I met some speedrunners who showed me how to do some tech and stuff. And I got into speedrunning from there, joined the Boop Troop, and eventually learned to run any person. And I've been running various categories since.
If you're not aware, FMO is a very top runner of this game too. It's been from the bottom, now we're here, sort of. There's a better metaphor for that, but I can't remember it.
Yeah, I kind of jump scared the top runners. Like, I really just I spent like so long focusing on the movement and stuff with like my friends in the online party. I just kind of came out of nowhere and scared everyone. But like,
yeah,
the community is like so sweet. I couldn't just like
community.
Leave, so I just kept going, and I'm where I am today.
All right, Spruce. Now, how did you get into Hat in Time?
I don't remember how I wanted to get into it, but I remember I wanted it. I wanted to play it, and then the game was on Humble Bundle, and I was like, cool, I've been meaning to get this game. And then I got it, and I played it, and it was good. And then I started running it, and it was pretty good. And I ran it for like a month, and then stopped. And then once I started making my YouTube series, where I made tutorials for games, I was like, hey, this is a game that I speedrun. Yeah. I was like, hey, this is a game that I ran and is a perfect time for this. I'm gonna go make a video on it. So I did, and then I got good enough at the game, and now I still play it.
You just got saved so bad. Again, I'm very behind. I got into Hat in Time. I kicked this game because it was originally a Kickstarter, and it was
really?
Yeah, it was originally a Kickstarter, and it and the Kickstarter for Ukulele came out at the same time, and I kicked both of them in college. And then forgot about them. And then they came out, and I was like, oh, crap, I was really excited for Hat in Time, because I like Mario 64.
It's been in development for 20 years.
Yeah. And then I think it came out at the same time as Ukulele 2. I've never played Ukulele, even though I picked it. But
Ukulele came out in April of the same year that Hat did.
Okay. Yeah, so I never played Ukulele, but I did play this game. And then I'd never played the DLC, too. I only played the base game because I played it when it came out. And then I was like kind of burnt out on Pokemon for a bit, and I was just going through SRC, looking at what the top most active games were, trying to figure out if there was something else that maybe I wanted to do. No, I remember now. I was looking for a co-op run. I was trying to find a co-op run because a friend wanted to do a co-op run, because we were both kind of like, I don't know, Pokemon's kind of getting us down. And so then I saw that hat had a co-op category, and I was like, oh yeah, hat was really good. I wonder what that one looks like. And it was really cool. And I ran it for a bit. Now I don't.
You should.
I should. I know. I should. But I have to be run. So, too busy doing stupid Legends Arts. It's not. It's kind of fun.
It's actually crazy. Like, you backstarted the game. No. SWC played pretty early when the game was released, so I'm actually much newer to the game than both of you. Ironically.
Yeah, I started like September 2018, and then I came back in. No, I started in May 2018, and I came back in like September 2019, or some year, probably off by a year. Regardless.
Running this game got me to finally play the DLC though, because I'd heard that the second DLC was really good, but I never played it. And then I played it, I was like, it is really good.
Oh yeah, the second DLC is fantastic.
If you played Hat in Time and Release, and you haven't played since, I'm here to tell you that the second DLC is worth the money. It's extremely good. It's the best. I think it's the best level in the game.
Yeah, it's very open world, lots of exploration. It's so easy to get like lost in the area too. It's just super fun, a super fun experience.
I remember thinking Alpine
the game's
was
good.
neat,
It just got overshadowed by Odyssey.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, it came out Odyssey came out either a couple weeks before or a couple weeks after this game, so everyone was looking forward to that.
I don't remember them.
Yeah, I believe it was a bit after.
That's crazy.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So. Unfortunate.
So as I mentioned before, this is a show where people send us in questions. We don't just talk about how much we like a Hat in Time. And we have some questions for you to answer, and for us to also answer, if you're ready.
Okay. I don't know if I am, but I'll do it.
We got a bunch of hat-specific questions. I tried to pull a bunch of the hat. I didn't pull all the hat-specific questions, otherwise it should be the most hat-specific episode of all time, and our episodes already mention Hat in Time a little bit too much. But
we'll save the other specific hat questions for the non-hat game.
Exactly. I think that's what we'll do.
All right.
Dear PB, you run a game where the runner has an option to use keyboard and mouse or a controller. What do you use when you run, and what was the reason for using said method? Is it a performance reason, or is it a comfort, hand pain, etc. issue? From Inquisitive on Input Methods.
Ooh, okay,
this
so
question.
This is a really fun one to answer. So when I first started playing the game, the better option at the time was actually controller, but I preferred playing keyboard and mouse just because it's what I played when I played the game casually, so I was more comfortable with it. Soon after I started playing the game, however, we developed hat lag, which is like an EX tool that makes lag strategies work on equally across like different computers. And since then, there's been a lot of lag strategies found that are actually better suited for keyboard. So now I play on keyboard not just because it's my preferred method and I'm comfortable with it, but because it's actually optimal to do that.
I'm gonna tangent real quick just to shout out how flexible the hat community is in terms of mods and rules and stuff like that. One of the most, I mentioned this in the last episode, I think, but it's one of the most relaxed communities when it comes to I guess game purism.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Quality of life.
Oh yeah, hat's always been much more low priority on keeping full game integrity for sure.
Yeah, which I like because I think it makes it a more enjoyable experience.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If we didn't have hat lag, the game would suck to run. So.
Mm-hmm. There's still a lot of debate when it comes to what mods and what fixes we add and stuff. But typically we've always ended up on the looser end of it, even when there is some controversy and votes.
I use controller, which is weird because when I played this game casually, I played it on keyboard.
Yeah.
And now I can't play it on keyboard. It feels so wrong to me. When I try to do when I try to do boot Metro, and I can't boop on controller consistently at all. I'm horrible at it. So I try to do it on keyboard, but then I have to crouch and my brain forgets what all the keys are, and it's I've never played a video game before.
Oh yeah, that's the difficult thing about this game. It's optimal on keyboard now, but the thing is, a lot of top runners and a lot of runners who get into the game are much more comfortable on controller since this is a 3D platform and a
Yeah.
platformer, and that's like the typical method you use to play these types of games.
Yeah, that's why I play in controller. It is.
I usually
Keyboard just
play-
hurts to play on.
Yeah, I usually play platformers on controller, but whatever. I think when I played this game casually, I don't know if I like had a good controller, or maybe I just was feeling lazy. But yeah, I played this game casually on keyboard, which is
I
very
started
weird
on
for me.
GameCube controller.
I played on a 360 controller,
Yeah, that is the better method.
and I ran on an Elite controller, which then broke. That's why I stopped running this game. Because if I want to learn it again, I have to learn new key bindings. Because my Elite controller is completely broken, so I only have a 360 controller, and I have to figure out how I'm going to bind that with the fewer buttons available.
Oh goodness.
Mm.
I used
when
to
are
have mash on a flapper paddle, and that won't work.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I have every single button on my controller mapped to something.
Yeah,
the
that's
sticks?
that's the other big thing.
Except the stick buttons because those all accidentally press and screw up something.
Yeah, that's the other big thing is because of how many different lag strategies there are, controller players are actually like running out of buttons to bind stuff on. So a
Yeah.
lot more runners are learning like either full keyboard or like hybrid keyboard and controller more instead of just one or the other.
Yeah, I used to mash with right mouse, like just using the mouse button, until I set up my Elite controller, which I really liked having the mash flapping paddle. It was so convenient.
Yeah, I like very recently just set up a button on my controller to mash. There's like a little config bug in the game where you can just hold down a button
Is it a
and
bug?
mash through all text. It is cool.
Yep, it's a scroll wheel mash technique that actually has been seen in a lot more PC games recently.
Yeah, it's great. I know I like the Mass Effect. I know they have the same scroll wheel mash, but they don't have a way to bind it to another button as well. So the tech is you just buy a mouse that has a like a non-clicky scroll wheel, like free scroll.
I love that. Oh my gosh.
I wish that worked for something like Portal because you use scroll wheel to jump in Portal.
You're murdered.
But if you just free scroll, it doesn't continue jumping, which is unfortunate.
Travel Express is so clean.
Thank you. Yeah, this level is like, oh my gosh, this level is very difficult. I actually, speaking of controller methods, while I do run on keyboard primarily, there's one place in the game I do use controller, and it's here.
Nice.
Hello, mother.
Hi, F mom.
Yeah, for whatever reason, there's like one specific section in this level I find so much easier on controller, so I play on controller there. But nowhere else. Everywhere else is keyboard for me.
And if people aren't
Yeah, I
aware,
feel like-
controller is not optimal in this game in almost all
Yeah.
in a lot of
Yeah.
levels. There are keyboard-specific strats. It's very dumb.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like at the top level, it's either keyboard or hybrid
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really hard for a lot of top runners because
or Linux.
there's
Or
a
Linux.
yeah, Linux. Oh, that's a whole nother story. I'll get into in a bit. But a lot of top runners are controller players, and they're old, right? So like they started like running the game like when it came out, and it wasn't even a question then like if it was an issue. But now it is.
That's me.
So it's like basically if you're new to this game, every runner recommends you run keyboard, and the poor controller
I don't.
players are just stuck.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't.
Run whatever works well for you. Once you get to the top level, you can reconsider, but for now, no.
Yeah, I mean, Enhu's the number one controller runner. Even he uses keyboard for some levels, like Golden Ball.
Yep,
Yeah.
It's so much
You just
faster on
kinda have
keyboard.
to.
You have to. You go for choice, really.
Yeah, some runners use a lot of like jank setups on controller to make some tricks work, but Enhu just runs Enhu's another top runner. He for keyboard better levels, he just runs a lot of levels directly on keyboard, like he doesn't even bother with all the crazy setups.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna start getting into that, and I'm not
Yeah.
looking forward to it because I don't like keyboard. But we'll see. Next question.
Next question.
Yay!
Dear PB, I am a young runner of only 18 years of age. I recently joined a speedrun community, but I realized that after talking with most of the community, most other runners are older compared to me. Most runners are around 26 or older, which isn't old, but it is an 8+ year gap, I'm starting to feel conscious of my age around other runners that people would perceive me as not a peer or equal. Am I overthinking it that age will get in the way of forming relationships and communities? Are generation gaps among runners a common thing you see? And this one was anonymous, and it's been a while, and I could not think of a good, like, Dear Abby style anonymous written name, so this one's anonymous.
Alright. Well, I actually have the perfect answer to that question because I am one of the youngest top runners, so I'm like in your position exactly. I started playing this game when I was 17, and I'm 19 now. I'm gonna be 20 in a few months. So I'm also on the younger side for sure. Like, I'm one of the 2 top ATP base runners, and the other top runner is like also in late 20s, so I feel you on that age gap. It does feel a little isolating at times, but I found that when it comes to learning a game and joining a community, what really unites you, like with that community, is the game itself, above most things, and then you bond kind of from there as friends as time goes on, really. So like people don't really pay too much attention to your age since it's more that community bond that's like prioritized. It's difficult to explain, but yeah, it's something like I definitely felt insecure starting it, but honestly it's not really something I think about too much anymore since I found my solid foundation in the community.
This feels like a
Difficult
thing
setup
that I
there.
understand being self-conscious about it when you're in high school, because when you're in high school, most of your friends are within
Oh,
a year
yeah.
of your age. And then but as you get older, it stops mattering, really, like, at all.
Yeah.
Like,
especially because speedrun communities are typically like always online. You
Yeah.
don't really.
but
you
even
don't
in
really
real
know-
life, right? Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't really think about the age of my friends as long as they're adults, right? Like,
Yeah, I think you worded it so much better than me.
like, the
Like,
only time it's the only time it like ever comes up is if somebody's like under 21 and then like they can't drink or something in the US.
Yep.
That's the
Yeah.
only time where like an age of a friend might come up in a way that actually matters. Other than that, it's just kind of like, okay, I don't know. Like, most of my friends are around my age, but like some are older, some are younger. It just happens. And as you get older, those age gaps matter a lot less. It's a weird microcosm of being in high school where everyone's around the same age as you.
Yeah,
Or school in
it's
general.
definitely weird when you're around the 18-year-old age, just because that's kind of your only experience with other people that
Yeah.
aren't like middle-aged adults, like parents and stuff. So it's difficult. That's kind of just how it is. Like, everyone I work with is like 50,
Jump scare
Okay.
and
one.
that's weird.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, y'all definitely answered it like more clearly than me. I was like kind of put on the spot there. I was like, oh shoot, that's me.
That's
what
you.
what
That's
what
you.
how do I feel about this? Oh no.
And then we're coming from the other end where I'm like, I'm old. I don't know.
Yeah, y'all are the older
I'm like
ones.
right in the middle.
Yeah,
I'm-
you're splitting the difference.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, I am the young one. How do I answer this? But yeah, y'all basically clarified my thoughts perfectly there. Like, it's
Also-
very much a high school thing where you're just like so used to being people or around people the same age as you, and then suddenly like you hit college and graduate, and it's like, whoa. This is
Yeah,
a
and then everyone you
whole
interact with is like
experience.
45 or older.
Yep.
Also, if people are like being condescending to you because you're younger, then that's indicative of people being shitty in the community.
And they suck,
Like,
yeah.
unless you're also being immature, but like I've definitely seen younger members in the community who are like in fact very immature, and then people are like, okay, you need to not do that. Like,
Yeah.
please.
Mhm.
There are some communities where a lot of people are like under the age of 15, and
Yeah.
that's like, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of more like age difference is a little bit
Yeah.
more an issue when you have people that are like, well, like a significant amount of people that are like 13.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there aren't too many communities where that is the case. You have things like Minecraft or like Odyssey where the communities are so large anyways that it's just going to naturally bring in people of all ages.
Oh yeah.
So
Like, generally, the larger and more known the game is, the more likely you're gonna have like people of all ages. Whereas the more niche the game is, it's a lot more likely to be like older groups.
yeah. Yeah, if you're running an NES game that isn't like Mario, your community is probably gonna be a bit older.
Oh yeah. Yeah, thanks for clarifying my thoughts there. I was just like,
problem.
oh, shoot.
Yeah, I knew you were getting at.
I was like, shoot, I am the 18-year-old who feels that way. That's a good question for myself too.
It's almost like it was one that was sent in specifically for this episode.
Whoa, I wonder
No
That's
why.
crazy. That's crazy. You got a lot of
Way to-
ones actually. You got like
Way to
5
call out the
questions.
Hat in Time community for being old.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, the Hat in Time. I feel like the Hat in Time community is like pretty
It's
varied.
like down. Yeah, it's like down
Yeah.
the middle. Like you
Yeah.
have like
Yeah.
the older people are like late 20s and stuff, but you have a lot of people who are like 16 to 18 as well.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah,
Also, every community gets older over time, so
exactly.
worst case, just wait. That's the inevitable passage of time.
And then you get to be the older one. Wow.
So I'm doing
That's-
a difficult trick.
Unless you collect all the timepieces, and then maybe you won't get older.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Hat Kid has remained a kid
I
since the game
assume that's
came
the
out.
thing the timepieces can do. They don't really, as far as we know, like the only thing the timepieces do is like make Lava World, right?
Yeah.
You can make Lava,
Lava
World.
World.
There's 2 instances of timepieces making Lava World. Yeah, that's about
That's
all I know
kinda
about
it.
timepieces.
There's the time stop.
That's
hack,
about the
but
lord.
That's not
That's
powered
about
by,
the lord of this game.
Like, if you think about it, I feel like Yarn has more time abilities than timepieces do.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah,
like
it's because so much
Ooh,
of
good hover.
this game's plot was scrapped.
Yeah, I love this game, but the game its theming is perhaps a bit lacking. Like individual worlds have good themes, but like as a through plot,
Yeah, there is
there
really
is
no
not
through
really
plot.
much of one. Like
There
Mustache
was
Girl,
a lot more in like the beta and like
Why
the
did they get rid of
planned.
it?
There was a lot more, but it's
Just, like,
I don't know.
time constraint.
yeah,
I
there
have
is
no
a lot
idea.
of time constraints.
Hot time.
Ideas ideas being dropped and shifted around, so like this game's story does kind of
Not
has
exist.
little to no cohesion whatsoever.
Mustache Girl
Yeah.
kind of shows up and then disappears for like
the rest of the
the
game.
rest of the game, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm playing as her now. Okay, well that's over now. Okay, it's the finale. Got it. What?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So I remember seeing during the Kickstarter, seeing like updates about like, here's our plans for the plot, here's the characterization and stuff, and I was like, okay, that's neat. And then the game came out, and I was like, where'd she go?
Where go?
It's all gone. Yeah, beta was very different from the release game. Like this game's gone through a lot of changes during development.
I don't know if I ever played the beta. I don't know if I was in the beta tier. Should I go check?
Definitely was not.
I'm gonna go check.
Important.
Yeah.
The lore.
Welcome to Dear PB, a podcast where I log into my Kickstarter account.
And access cut content.
View all back products. Show more pledges. When did I back this?
Like 2012.
It's the second thing I ever backed.
Whoa.
Estimated delivery February 2014.
Oh, did you get it yet? That was 8 years ago.
8
Wait, what
years
was I?
ago?
What was I looking up?
The
Oh, what
planned
tier I
features.
did. What tier I did.
Yeah, that too.
That's what it was. God, I've kicked so many board games. How do I check?
This is the
$15
important content that
rewards.
everyone's
Get a
looking for.
virtual copy of the
True.
game. So I thought,
Whoa, $15.
yeah, I did not back as a beta level, which explains why I never played the beta. All right, next question.
Anyways.
We're going through this. Dear PB,
Alright.
there's so much gamer gear out there being thrown in my face through Twitch ads and stuff. A lot of the items seem to be no different from their non-gamer counterparts. Is there any gamer gear / products that is actually worth it? What other general gear / products do you recommend investing in for speedrunners? From Equipment Enigmatic.
Alright, so I do have a good answer for this one. So I think yeah, there's a lot of stuff advertised to be gamer stuff out there that isn't really. Oh, I missed that cherry. Yeah, that isn't really worth your time. Like, I think office chairs are a good example of that.
Yeah.
Like, gamer office chairs aren't actually that good for your back, but office chairs are that much better.
Which makes sense if you
Gamer
think about
office.
like office chairs being designed for like expensive office chairs specifically being designed for people sitting in an office all day. Like, checks out.
Exactly. Yeah, that was the main thing that I was thinking of.
Yeah. If
Gamer
there's
chairs are not ergonomic whatsoever.
if there's one thing I do recommend though, in terms of like actual good gamer stuff, it is definitely a mouse and a keyboard.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
I don't know. I don't feel like gamer keyboards are that good. I feel like a nice mechanical keyboard. you
Yeah,
can-
Right.
it depends on
But I
your
mean-
definition of gamer keyboard, I guess. Because like a
True,
lot of
yeah.
gamer keyboards, oh, where do I go? Here. A lot of gamer keyboards, are actually really nice mechanical keyboards, and depending on the switches they have, are actually like cheaper than a lot of specific mechanical keyboards.
Yeah, mechanical
like,
keyboards
I
get
have
really expensive really fast.
yeah,
The
like
more lights you have, the better you play as well.
Like, my keyboard in front of me, I think, is like $400 components.
Damn.
yeah, and then
Over time. I replaced stuff over time, but
a mouse can be good. It depends on the model. Like a lot of gaming mouses I see have like a million buttons and look like a
Yeah, they have a whole
cluster.
keyboard on the
yeah.
side.
Yeah,
It's
they
like on the
just look
side you
like-
can... It's
I
the
have
only thing,
6 on the side of mine, and I use 2 of them.
Gaming?
And they're my forward and back keys.
Gaming mice are the only thing that still have full numpads.
Yeah.
Yeah,
crazy.
as someone with a gaming mouse, I will say my gaming mouse only has 2 buttons on the side. That's all you need.
Yeah,
You don't
it
need
really
more
is.
than 2.
I have a fancy gaming mouse. I don't even use half the buttons. It wasn't super worth
Yeah.
it. But the mouse is very nice, so...
Yeah, I like mine.
Um,
I've had issues with mice in the past with
Yeah.
double clicking and
I
not
had
being
a-
responsive, but
I had a mouse I used to love. They don't make it anymore.
sad.
I bought it because it came with the League skin back when I played League. And it was really good.
But
Um,
I feel like if you're going to be like playing a game like this on mouse, you should probably get something that's like optimized for movements and not
Yeah.
like just like a cheap $5 office mouse. But I mean, you can still make it work.
And even
It
still,
might not be as good.
you can make it work with, like, you don't have to get like the $150 with point Z or whatever. You can get like something on sale or whatever, and it'll still be
Ooh.
fine. I have a couple streaming related things I think you should do, and that is if you plan to stream it all, you should invest in a mic. It doesn't have to be
100%.
Yes.
a super good
A
mic,
real mic.
but it should be like at least podcastable essentially, because the one, like, you can get away with really bad video quality, but you can't get away with bad mic. It's the thing that
Yeah.
kills.
I recently was watching, or just like I clicked into like one of my VODs of this game, like my early PB, and I was using a headset mic, and it was just so grainy and just like
Awful.
not good quality. Like the headphones that they were attached to were great, but the mic was just not. It might have been good for like playing some game on a team with people, like that's fine, but like for actual
For
like,
recorded
streaming
content,
quality, it's
yeah.
just not.
Mhm.
It's not ready for it.
Like, I know there's definitely people that like I'm friends with who streams that I haven't really been able to watch because like their audio quality is so bad that it just gives me a headache.
Mhm. Yeah,
Like, you'll
standalone
see-
mic.
YouTubers
Great.
say the same thing. People are like giving advice to YouTubers, and that is like you can get away with a lot if your audio quality is good, because
Mhm.
like people are largely like half the thing that people are listening to is like people. The reason why people watch streamers is largely because they want to like hear what the streamer has to say.
Right, and if it's just crunchy or grainy, it's
Yeah.
not fun.
Yeah, more often than not, if you're gonna have a stream in the background, it's gonna be with audio, not the video.
I also recommend compression gloves. It depends on the game you're playing. If you're using a controller, I recommend using compression gloves. I find it helps a lot for wrist pain. I
I
don't
should
have a
invest.
brand to recommend because the brand that I use is now into NFTs. So don't use them. Screw that. But yeah, get some compression gloves. And the
Speaking-
one,
Oh,
sorry,
no, you
go ahead. Go.
Okay. Speaking of wrist pain, something I recommend. A lot of people get like these really fancy like desk wide mouse pads.
Ooh, I have one.
Yeah. I actually have a much smaller one, but it has a little wrist rest on it, and it's helped my hand like so much, and I really recommend getting something like that.
I thought wrist rests were not unergonomic.
Oh, really?
That's what I. That's what
Oh,
I.
no.
That's what
Wait,
I read
what?
in like the mechanical community scene. Is they're pretty
Okay.
anti-wrist rest.
Okay,
I don't know
okay.
anything about them.
Grain of salt. Do your research. Do your research.
Do
I'm
your
no
research.
expert.
Because I used to use a wrist rest and I stopped because I kept seeing people be like, it's actually pretty bad for your wrists.
I could see how if like your keyboard is lower than the wrist, you're like pointing your wrist down and that's bad. But
Yeah.
I
Like,
guess it depends on like how your setup is set up.
I guess the
Yeah.
idea is like it's a more natural arc for your hands outer wrist rest because it's like I think it really depends on the height of your keyboard. So if you have a taller
Yeah.
keyboard, then that's probably not a particularly ergonomic keyboard, but then a wrist rest makes more sense. And in your case, FMO, maybe that's what happened.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, do your research first.
Yeah. There's a lot
Might
of
be
stuff about
bad.
ergonomics, though. Like, you can really get deep in the wires with that. Like, if having a numpad is non-ergonomic because, like, your right arm has to go too far to the right, things like that.
Yeah.
I think in general, just like find what works for you, because at the end of the day, we all have like, oh, I put the sticker. We all have like
Yes.
slight variations in like what we're comfortable with, or like general anatomy with like hands and wrists. So just like test things out, find what's comfiest for you, really.
Right. And it's you at the end of the day that's doing it. So I mean, if someone says it's bad, but it's good for you, then it's good for you.
I thought you supposed to lag when you hit the pink orbs.
That is something I did find, but I actually found I
Doesn't
don't like
work for
doing
me.
it.
I
Yeah,
made
there's actually
I made
there actually,
Swoosh do it during a marathon run.
Yeah, and it doesn't work.
yeah, it's actually more difficult to do than it looks. That's what they're mentioning is actually a strategy. Oh no, that's unfortunate. What they are talking about is actually a strategy I found, where you can like hold lag while ice hatting those purple thingies, and you like bounce on them over and over until they break. I don't do it.
Yeah,
Because-
I tried every once in a while, and I just fall off. You need to have like a good position on it before you
Yeah.
go over. It's difficult.
Oh,
I
man,
made
this
Swoosh
volleyball is
during a marathon because I think that's when it got like FMO first posted it.
Yeah,
And
it
then
was
Swoosh was
a
like,
day
I
or
hate
two
this.
after.
I don't want to do it.
funny.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're watching this run, that golden vault I just did, that is not what it's supposed to look like. I messed
That was
up a lot.
perfect. That looks like how I do it. It seems
Yeah,
fun.
that same. Don't worry, we've established that this podcast is actually designed to create bad runs.
True.
Yeah. You're not allowed to have a good run.
Yeah,
Trying to
You're-
philosophically understand my age while
Yeah,
doing
while doing a
the most-
speed
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having an early life crisis.
it's our secret strategy to destroy the self-esteem of all runners that we can swoop in and take the top spots.
Yeah.
because
Oh my
that's how it
gosh.
works.
It all makes
Um,
sense now.
I have one piece of like gamer gear that I actually like, and I don't feel like there isn't a real equivalent to, and I have a Stream Deck, and I like it. You don't need it.
Yeah, I mean, like, the
not-
alternate is to just buy a standalone numpad and make that work,
Yeah.
pretty much. But, yeah, Stream Decks are good if you
Yeah.
have stuff that would need it. Like, I don't need one, but I
Like
could.
absolutely unnecessary, but I have one and I like it. So
Yeah,
I do.
they're pretty cool.
I remember DOS keyboard, that keyboard that had like every key was a screen, came out in like the mid 2000s. Does anyone remember this?
Maybe.
It was like there was like this company and they just made like really artsy, like they were like I think they were a Russian company, and they made like pretty like all these like gimmicky products. One of the things was a keyboard where every key was a screen. It was like $2,000 or something.
My word.
And that's essentially
Nice.
what a Stream Deck is, but with fewer keys and a tenth the price.
And not $2,000.
Yeah.
Interesting.
My
I-
goodness.
I remember seeing reviews for it, people being like, it's not a great keyboard, I won't lie.
Yeah.
Can't really get
I
none
mean,
of
it's
that.
a gimmick.
Yeah, it's fully a gimmick. Dear PB, A Hat in Time has so many category extensions on SRC. Which one is your favorite? Are there any with a funny story behind it? Yes. Is there one you
Oh.
recommend a
The
beginner
end.
run to do for a nice change up to any percent? From
Dio
Hat X
percent.
Curious.
Oh goodness, I'm gonna have to think through this one. There's so many. Good
I
stuff
like
on
10x Finale.
10x finale. I actually
It's good
don't
for
remember
practice.
the origin stories of that. It's good for practice, but I think the main reason it was added as a joke, because someone really disliked finale that much.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I just like creating a split name. Oh, that was unfortunate.
Yeah.
I just like
Doing
adding
great.
new splits, thinking of 10 different finale split names. That's my favorite part of doing 10x finale.
Yeah. Oh, did my game
Oh.
soft lock? No.
Uh-oh.
Yes, I'm here.
No,
Okay.
I think it's just going through the
great.
cutscene. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
As somebody
This game
watching
likes
from the
cutscenes.
past, it's very interesting to see what's going to happen. This is looking
Yeah.
like my heating ups.
Yeah.
Sorry
Category.
for those watching.
Yeah, category extensions though. My personal two favorites are grab percent
Grab percent so dumb.
Very good
and
category.
I have no fucking water percent.
Also a category that exists.
So, grab percent is a run in which you have to grab a ledge 100 times as fast as possible, and that's it.
Yep.
So
And
there's
the
like,
world record is
I believe a high 16 seconds or a low
Yes.
17, somewhere around there. Yeah,
it is fast.
very fast.
It's just an
And,
EPM tester.
Yeah, there's one spot in particular people found, like right outside the Deadbird World Telescope, where you can basically like grab the ledge over and over again, almost frame perfectly, and so that's like the meta spot you have to do it at. And people
Yeah.
are actually tasking it now too, which
Yeah,
is
it
hilarious.
was
so
tasked
good.
earlier today.
That's so good.
And it's like 16.2 or something. With 100 frame perfect grabs.
I
So-
hope that when they invented the computer, this is what they had in mind.
Someday people will grab a ledge 100 times in a video game and time it.
Yeah, I have no fucking water percent though. That category was actually first created by me and another top runner named Does This Username. So the name of it is a reference to a very old community meme that was like back when this game was ran on 1.0, before I was even around. There was a runner named Nowak, who also ran Sunshine, and he had this clip on his Twitch channel when he streamed, where he was playing Sunshine, he ran out of water, fell and died, and he just aggressively like got close to the mic and said, "I have no fucking water. I have no fucking water. Are you kidding me?" And it's been a huge meme since. So we called it that because the idea of the category is you're not allowed to touch any water. And it's a bit complicated because my initial definitions of touching water were very loose. Basically, any substance that gives Hat Kid a kind of shiny texture,
Okay.
such as swimming.
What about
oh,
oil or mud?
I wasn't supposed to do that.
Impossible challenge.
Yeah, I basically just said, at the time I basically just said, basically just water swimming. But like since then, there's like runners who have like been like running it competitively and stuff, and they're like creating their own rules and stuff, and like challenging the system, and like have been like, please rewrite these rules as this. This doesn't seem right. I'm like, oh, okay. So it's
I
just-
definitely thought that I have no fucking water percent would be just lose on Beat the Heat. Hi, this is post-production May, the May that gets added in after the fact. Did you know we have a Patreon? If you're already a Patreon subscriber, this message isn't for you. Thank you, we love you, tune out for this part. But if you're not, for only $3 a month, you get access to episodes early and get a bonus episode at least once per month. The bonus episodes are like different from the regular episodes. They're a lot more unhinged, which is kind of saying something. You get access to all the ones we've already done, even if you subscribe now, so that's cool. We don't want to have to run ads during this program, because ads suck, and supporting us via the Patreon helps us not have to do that. You can check it out at patreon.com/dearpbpod if you're interested and can afford to do so. You're already supporting us by listening to the show and telling others about it, so this is kind of like a bonus thing you could do if you really like it. Okay, cool, I'm done, bye.
Okay.
I definitely thought that I have no fucking water percent would be just lose on Beat the Heat.
Yeah, so we've said
That sounds like an awful category.
It doesn't
there's
sound
a lot
I'll
great.
be honest.
There's a
27
lot-
timepieces? No.
there's a lot of spots that are debated very heavily to be water or not. Also, I just did something on accident that lost me about like 20 seconds. So there's this little like
Nice.
glitch that like resets your checkpoint, and I did it too early and I reset my checkpoint too far back, but that's okay.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, there'll be like debates on whether or not something's water, and people will like ask me like, oh, is this water? It should be water. And honestly, sometimes I'll just say, depending on how potentially miserable it could make the category, I'll just say like, this is water or this is not water. Just for the sake of people having fun playing the run.
Perfect.
Yeah, those are my two favorite category extensions though.
Alright,
My two
evangelize Dio
favorites.
percent.
So,
Oh yeah.
So Dio percent is a category that somebody
10%.
made. I had no involvement with it.
Definitely not.
I didn't. It was made back in 1.0. And the objective of it is to craft the time stop hat and go to the Battle of the Birds finale where you fight the director. Use the time stop hat on one of his knife attacks, a la the JoJo, that one, and get the timepiece. So it's cool because
You can just do that?
the
Sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
So the cool thing about routing it is time stop hat requires 32 yarn. So initially I thought because 1.0 requires only 24 yarn for time stop, it would be faster to do on that. But because a lot of things are just slower on 1.0, like cutscenes and stuff, eventually it was just, I just figured it was faster to get 32 and have the other quality of life fixes.
Yeah, it's actually mind-blowing that it was faster on newer patches.
Yeah. Like it's only me that's run it and one other person from 1.0, so I basically had to like route it from scratch because when the other person ran it, there was nothing with like lag or anything. So another routing challenge is to get the time stop hat, you need to collect a time stop yarn. That's how hats work in this game.
It's
you need
very
to
weird.
collect. Yeah, you need to get a yarn of its type to craft the hat. And the only place where the time stop yarn is Alpine. So you need to get to Alpine, get a yarn or 2 or 3 or however many, and you can craft it there. So I think it's a cool category because you do enough levels that aren't any percent, like Alpine intro at least, and the later half of Battle of the Birds. And it's short. It's like 28 minutes, I think.
I fully did not know that whole like having to get the specific yarn thing. That there was even differences in yarn until you were talking about rooting that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's actually funny. You'd think it'd be like you need a certain amount of like the specific types of yarn, but no, you just need like
one.
just need
Unlocks
one.
the recipe basically.
and then the rest is like just random yarn combined
Yeah.
together. It's interesting, but I
I
actually
feel
like
like
the
was
system.
that mechanic supposed to be different originally? It feels like something they changed.
Yeah,
Probably.
hat abilities used to be like with the badges, but now it's like reversed. So
Yeah.
the badges do what the hats would have done.
Shot that.
And the other category I like is fake award percent, where you get to the fake award at the end of Battle of the Birds as fast as possible, and that's also really, really short. And there's a cool strat that is technically obsolete, but it's when you slide all the way to Subcon Well. But it's obsolete because the new patch of the game lets you just hook shot straight to it without having to complete CO. But
Lame.
I don't like that patch, so I don't play on it.
Which is unfortunate, because skipping the wall with the slide is very stylish.
It is cool.
Yeah,
The new patch gives you
yeah.
ultra, so it's possible to say if it's good or not.
Yeah, it's not.
True. Oh, ultras, ultras.
Ultra jumps are such a curse.
Oh
Such
my
a curse
goodness.
trick.
Yeah, so there is an option added in Hat recently called auto jump, which is where like you automatically jump to a surface, and so speedrunners naturally were like memeing to death about it, right? It's like, we don't need that. We're speedrunners.
Yeah.
We don't need to automatically jump.
It's an accessibility feature they added.
Yeah. And so we were messing with it. And then one runner in particular decided to buffer jump, then turn it off, then oh dear. Buffer jump, then turn it off, and then close the menu, and they proceeded to go flying in the air and then freak out. And thus ultras were discovered. Not Celeste ultras, these are Hat in Time ultras.
You just jump real high.
Yeah, instead of jumping real far, you jump real high. So
Yeah.
the issue is, because you do them with like menuing and stuff, they're keyboard tricks.
Yay.
They're not very fast on controller whatsoever. So
Classic
that's
controller in this game.
oh
Yeah.
yes. So that's been a big issue to work around lately because with even newer tech found with the Vanessa's Curse DLC, combined with that, there's a lot of runs now that are faster with ultras. So controller players are just like, why?
Yeah, that's why I just don't run on it. I'm not going to bother.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, category extensions, I think anything that does things that aren't any percent, like Alpine or later halves of chapters, I think are really cool. Just because if you're not like actively running ATP to do them anyways, it's a good experience to things that aren't any percent.
Yeah.
And that kind of like naturally leads into running ATP anyways,
I tend to not
Oh,
like
yeah.
cat
is
acts that
a
are
good
just like
category.
I tend to not like cat acts that are just like do the any percent, but then also maybe some other stuff, or do the any percent, but also maybe a little bit less. Just like, well, actually, maybe I'll just do any percent.
Yeah, that was my issue with a burger on the right percent. It was
Oh, double
basically just
sunglasses
like,
is a good one too. Sorry. Yeah.
yeah.
Double
It was-
sunglasses is fun.
Yeah, they're both basically just like the beginning of like the any percent run, and then you do a couple extra things at the
Yeah.
end. So it's like,
Well, that's essentially a complete any percent run. It's just reset Mafia time anyway. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no fucking water percent is a lot more unique too, because you actually can't do She Came From Outer Space whatsoever, which is really bad because that unlocks like a lot of different levels you'd normally do in any percent and locks you out of a ton of yarn, so you have to do a lot more like Alpine and creative like birds levels.
Yeah. I should do a run of that soon.
Me
Alright,
too.
well,
I actually haven't ran it. I made the
Yeah.
category, I added rules, I haven't ran it.
go follow both Swoos and FMO on Twitch. Links in the description.
Yeah,
So that
I'll
you can
totally
watch.
stream.
So you
Don't
can watch
forget the
this.
underscore.
Don't forget the underscore. That's why I said links in the description.
What other category extensions are there? There's Josepha percent, which makes no sense, but it's a thing. You go to murder and you accuse your aunt of the crime, and that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
entire category, and it's like 8 minutes long.
There is 10x ship shape.
10x Ship
don't
Shape's a
talk
good
about
one. 10x Ship Shape's good.
No,
Yes.
it's not.
Ship
No,
Shape's
it's
the only
great.
good level. That's all you need to know if you're not familiar with that.
Then there's things like all riffs, where you do all the riffs, all acts, where you do all the acts.
Oh yeah. Then you have the actual like more serious
Hatless
category
Badgeless.
extensions
Hatless
that aren't just
Badgeless
memes.
That is, Hatless Badgeless is rough.
Yeah.
All riffs is definitely my favorite like non-complete meme category extension.
I need to run all acts again.
Yeah.
Jumpless is also a thing.
Oh, jumpless is crazy.
Pretty rough.
It's just that it's that one Death Wish.
That
Damn.
one death
Yeah.
wish.
It's that Death Wish, but applied to every
The
single
entire
level in
game.
the game.
Yeah.
Then there's all riff tokens, all yarn, all stickers. There's a lot of category extensions for this game, but yeah, like I said,
all
I think
stickers
anything
should
that
include the rare stickers, and it should be like an 8-month run.
Oh my gosh.
I still have not gotten all of them after playing for however many years.
Oh yeah, me neither.
There's so
Rare sti-
many.
Rare
Yeah, and they're
stickers
so
are
rare.
rare stickers are like completely random drops. There's And some actually have weights to them in terms of getting them.
Right.
Like
You're not guaranteed to get one.
The Murder rare sticker is like a .001 or something insane like that.
Something, yeah.
Cool.
Oh, I
It's
didn't get
fun.
that district. Yeah, there's like only 2 on the market. And they're both like $30 or something.
Yeah.
Only that's a I'm like both feel like there being only 2, you'd think there'd be both more and less.
Right.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
right.
you'd
You actually
think.
have the dweller head.
Yeah.
I'm not used to that.
Yeah, and All
Is that
Time
all-
Pieces. In the All Time Pieces DLC version, you used to. I don't remember if you have it there or not currently.
You do now. You did not
Yeah.
before. You don't if you're doing restart warps. You do if you're not doing restart warps.
Yep. Oh, restart warps are.
Also,
something
I've
to
only run
discuss.
Alpine as part of co-op.
Not talking
so
about that.
Yeah,
I fully
yeah.
did not have it.
Please
Yeah.
DM me on like somewhere if you want to know about restart warps. That is so complicated to
Dude,
That's
explain.
private.
Restart
Private
warps are-
info.
Restart warps are cursed.
Yeah.
They're the most stressful thing in the world. I hate them.
I know.
Also a mouse only thing.
Yep.
Yep.
But yeah. There's a lot of things that you can do, and if there's something that you want to do that isn't on the category extension board, just make it, and it'll likely be on the category extension board.
True.
Because we don't really have standards, so as long as you have someone else to run it, you got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Even
if you
then,
just like
maybe
ask
not.
a mod to add it
And then
Yeah.
and
we'll
have
get
like
at
1
it.
or 2 people running it, it's on.
Yep.
Because like that's the whole point of CatX.
Yeah.
Also, the Hat CatX board has really good art. Okay, moving on. Which ones have I already read? Dear PB, if you were able to perform arbitrary code execution to change the world of speedrunning, how would you make it better? From altruistic ACE.
Ooh. I gotta think about this one. Just kidding. I know exactly what I do. Oh, I missed that. Oh well. I
Is
know
it-
exactly what I do. I would use Ace for one thing and one thing alone, and that is directly entering Manor after you enter contractual obligations to skip the need for a hover.
Yeah.
I feel like the point of this question was
that
supposed to
changes
be.
the world.
I think the
Change
point of this
the
question was
world.
supposed to be
Oh,
like.
not
Yeah.
the run!
Change the community, not just
yeah,
the game.
Not the game. I think it was
Oh my
supposed to be
gosh.
about like
I
social
mean,
change.
I mean, that would make the world a better place, but I feel like there's other things
well, it
that
would
could be
make
answered as well.
specifically the IW subcomp better.
It
True.
would make everything better.
My entire world was hat. I messed up. Oh goodness, I have to think about that one.
She asked me to show her soul, and I showed her my hat PV. Or
1 second.
whatever the meme is. I messed that up tremendously.
You tried.
That's like such a specific question. Like I feel like
I would make all auto scrollers skippable.
true.
Ooh, true. I would add turbo built into every game.
Ooh, yes.
Also good.
And cutscene skip. Hope.
Yeah.
I would say I don't know.
FMO is just
Remove-
like, it's perfect.
Speedrunning world is flawless.
I have such a functional fix in this here. I've like never thought about this before. It's like, oh man, and I have to think about it during an intense IL. It's like, oh gosh.
Yeah, that's the point of the
Yeah,
podcast.
That's the whole podcast. I would make cooking cat soft walk again.
Wait. You're not the only one.
Yeah, I know.
I would no, like all in-game currency that you have to like go out of your way for would just be like all collected for you at once.
Free
like you
money
would never
for
have
all.
free money,
Just
never
get
have to worry about it.
Just get the magnet badge.
Oh my
The
goodness.
super magnet, where it pulls in the entire world into you.
Yeah.
In every game.
Black hole badge.
Yeah.
We actually used to do that in ATP DLC, but then we found a glitch using relic crafting. I'm gonna grab this
Good.
for the sake of that heart pun for the sake
Shoutouts
of
to Albie for saving the pawn
Pog-
economy.
yes. Yeah,
Honestly.
yeah, shouts to Albie. She found a fantastic trick where you basically can enter a death wish actually, which is legal in ATP DLC, while you're crafting a relic. And for whatever reason, the relic is crafted in the time rift it creates appears, but then the relic pad is empty again, but you've already paid for it, so you never have to pay for it again. So you went from needing like 600 something pawns in ATP DLC to needing like 150, which is absolutely
So nice.
insane.
There's a good
Yeah.
clip of Swoosh doing that on the Velocity run, Velocity Volume 3 run, and me making a very inappropriate joke.
I'll be sure to check it out. I'm curious now.
It's very good.
I have too many clips of this game.
If you're ever interested in co-op ATP, please watch the Velocity Volume 3 Hat ATP run. It is our magnum opus of unhinged commentary.
That wasn't even co-op. It was solo. It was just
solo?
the commentary made it feel like co-op. Yeah.
Oh my! It was it was solo.
Yeah, it
The
was
co-op
solo.
one-
It was just
when was the
commentary
co-op one?
was like 2 years ago.
No.
It was like Velocity 1 or 2.
Oh my god.
I think it was Velocity 2. Yeah.
Okay, but you did run it at 2 Velocity.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
I'm not-
no, I did an any percent race and then I did ATP.
It was any percent. Wait, what did I swear I commentated co-op.
You've commentated like everything. We did co-op for Midwest Speed Fest, I think.
No.
Or
it was
GDQ.
for speed stuff for charity.
Yeah. Yeah, Speed Stuff for charity.
Okay.
I know
but it
what you're
did-
talking about. I remember too.
It did
I've
happen.
been in a lot of marathons. I'm like the only marathon runner in this game, which is fine.
Yeah. and Ava.
Yeah, you and Ava
Yeah,
are big
they're like the
marathon
only ones.
runners.
Yeah. And I'm like dedicated commentary because
You're the sole commentator.
I just like the sound of my own voice, I guess.
That's why you started a podcast.
So I started a podcast. Yeah, but no, when we did the any percent tournament, it was like right as I joined the community. And despite
Yeah.
not knowing anything, I still commentated like
Yeah, she just
That was-
jumped
much.
into commentating and she did fantastic. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
that was like right when I came back. It was like, hey, we're gonna do a tournament. And I
my
was like,
bracket.
"Oh, cool.
My
I'll
bracket
go
was
1
also
and 2, but
was also so good.
I can't believe he managed to predict my triple upset.
What do you mean? It wasn't an upset. I knew,
I was seed number 5.
and yet
you got not 5th.
you got non-fit.
Yeah, they made a bracket that predicted all the women speedrunners would get like, whoa, I'm about to fall, would get like top times, would
And
be
I
like the
was-
top 3,
Pretty close.
which was funny because we weren't the highest seeds at all, but I somehow managed to get second win winners bracket. I still don't know how to this day.
It's because you're extremely consistent.
You played well.
Yeah.
I feel like I got good choke RNG from other top runners too. Like a lot really messed up really badly early on. It
We
was
should have
funny.
another any percent tournament. That's what
What
I'm
if we had
saying.
an ATP
Oh,
tournament?
speaking of tournaments,
having an
yeah,
ATP tournament.
SWC here
I
is
know.
hosting an ATP DLC tournament soon.
Yeah,
That's-
like in a couple weeks.
Go
Yeah,
subscribe
that's
to
very exciting.
twitch.tv/hatcommunity.
Ooh.
Link in the description. We have a lot of links in the description.
Links to everybody mentioned in the
Links to
description, and all
everyone, yeah.
categories mentioned
It's
will
just
be.
it's just an archive, like an archive, like just the book resources, like in the description.
Exactly. But yeah, tournaments are a fun way to get involved with a category that you don't know.
Very much.
IMO.
All right. Dear PB, what was your favorite Hat in Time level to learn? Were there any levels that gave you trouble? And how did you overcome the obstacles? Yeah.
All of them. I haven't yet.
Mood. I like well.
Well, huh?
I like
Well, is
well.
interesting.
Well is a very difficult level, honestly.
I just feel like it's very satisfying.
Yes, it's so
Everything-
satisfying to do and watch, but it's very difficult technically.
Yeah, everything
Yeah.
flows together really well.
Yeah, that was fantastic flow.
Murder on the Owl Express is a fun one, but also very frustrating.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like a shorter
The whole
level.
game
but
is hard.
The whole game is hard.
For me, I'm gonna have to go with finale. Actually, the last level
Yeah.
in most categories. The gauntlet in particular is very difficult. It's like you'll see at the end of this if you're watching the run, but it's a lot of really intense platforming, and you also have to get to the end with like 1 to 2 HP, so it's very easy to die if you're not careful. And then the mustache girl fight itself also has a very intense amount of RNG to it.
Yeah, the mustache girl fight sucks.
Oh yeah.
TTR is like the classic one. TTR is just
yes.
frustrating because like if you choke it at all, then you fail, which sucks.
Yeah. Time loss is painful.
Also, this level I'm doing right now, Express was very difficult to learn.
Especially the strat.
I hate Murder Rift. Probably my least favorite level.
Yeah,
well, my least favorite level is Village. I hate Village for some reason, but
Village is so fun.
I hate Village. I literally learned Murder Rift so that I wouldn't have to do Village anymore.
Yeah, I do a fast cycle in Express though, which is very, very difficult. You need perfect movement at the beginning.
You do this.
A perfectly spaced TSJ to reach like the first spinning platform, and then you have to get a lag shot like well timed with like the tilt of this like platform with a slope, and then you have to do a series of difficult movement that I messed up to get to the top really fast.
That was still very clean though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me a really long time to learn that one, and I actually started doing it in runs in grand finals of the 2021 any% tournament.
Yeah.
It was when I started using it.
That trick is hard, or like that level's hard, not the FMO hard way. Like, that's already a hard level.
Yeah. My least favorite level is the big parade.
Oh
What?
my goodness.
Have you ever seen a level with more gameplay and content?
Yes. Yes, I have.
Big Parade's a 4.5-minute auto-scroller.
Yeah. And you have to pay attention, because you can die in it, and that's the worst kind of auto-scroller.
And you
Music's
actually
good,
do...
though.
The best part is you actually do need to practice it, because there's camera manipulation you have to learn to get faster cycles, like towards the end, which is really funny.
So the genius of ATP co-op is that you can just have Squeeze do all the bad levels.
Yeah. Yay.
And also...
When we were routing out 2-player, I was like, alright, I'll do the levels you don't want to do, fine.
And also, depending on what the conductor groups is here, I need groups to win. I might go for something really hard in it called Parade Death, which saves about like 15 seconds. And it involves like dying into the timepiece, like at the end of Parade. And Parade is a 4-minute auto-scroller, so if you miss it, you lose a minute.
Oh yeah, because you get checkpointed, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the conductor is winning, so I'm not gonna do it.
Darn.
Yeah.
I don't even know what my favorite level is in this game.
Is it Ship Shape?
No, not that one.
Is it Deep Sea?
That's up there. I do like Deep Sea.
What about Tor? You have wonderful experience.
I love Tor, yeah.
Tor, wow! The Grand Crash!
Big fan of Tor. I've crashed the most there.
But now it's fixed!
Yeah.
You took to play in the latest patch.
Yeah, Purple Rips in this game used to be notorious for crashing. Then, a modder actually figured out what could potentially be causing the crashes, made a mod to fix it, and sure enough, no one's crashed since.
Yeah, I didn't realize that you had to actively go in and change the things to work, so I was...
You just left it on and then crashed.
So I had it on default, and I was like, yeah, cool, I can't crash now, and then I already, like, lost my run in, like, a DLC run because I had, I forgot to put no saving off, and... I was like, alright, cool, I'll just like go through the rest of the thing as if I was doing a run, and I was in Tor, and I crashed. I was like, well, I was lied to. But then I was told that you need to actively go in and change the settings for the mod. So now I'm good.
Don't understand why you would have no saving off. I don't understand it. Unless you're like practicing picking up yarn. That's the only thing.
Some saving RTA time at 80%. It's important.
Great. This game every time RTA.
Yeah. My own time is being wasted the more I have no saving.
No, your own time's wasted much more when you crash and tour.
Yeah, but no.
But no.
That's not even the same thing.
He chose it. They chose it.
I did this to myself.
Yeah, that was their choice.
But yeah, now I won't crash, and I am going to play the category again soon.
Yay!
Yay!
I love not crashing.
I don't.
I'm so excited that now
that's why I do it so often.
That now the Pokemon games that I run also crash. That's really cool.
They can?
Yeah,
oh my god!
PLA can crash. It's very rare. I've only had it happen to me once casually, but it can happen. You can also soft walk.
Oh my goodness.
I love soft walking.
Yeah. BDSP was really easy to crash. Especially if you were doing any percent. It was really easy to crash.
Crazy. I had no idea.
Essentially, if you switched map when in a certain like menu state, like menu saving state, you would crash the game.
Yay.
No, it's if a repel ran out when you were in a certain menu state, you would crash the game because it would try to display the text, but it wouldn't know what to do. It would just crash.
Okay, that's
the
actually
game doesn't know what to do here.
Yeah. Well, that game doesn't know what to do ever. So. That game is extraordinarily broken. Well,
yeah, for
at least
reference,
it was. They patched it.
Until recently, well, it still kind of is. Pat was like notorious for being a game that like crashed. Oh, I'm dead.
Uh-oh.
I died in Parade. That's okay.
Yay. That's Parade death.
Wait, is it?
No.
No, that's
Parade death is when you die in Parade.
No, that's when you die in Parade. Parade death is when you die in Parade beneficially.
And the more you die in the Parade, the deathier it is.
So I get lots of pawns now at least, but unfortunately...
It's alright, more content.
Yeah, more content! I lost 2 minutes, so we have 2 minutes extra.
Yes, good.
Alright.
Alright, what is everyone's favorite speedrunning commentary trope?
Ooh. Classic jinxes, honestly.
True. It is good.
It's always good when someone is commentating honestly anywhere, says something very specific, and then it happens.
Yeah, so this has only happened like once ever in recorded history. Oh, and it happened.
Ah, yes.
Darn.
I do like when you like visualize things into existence during commentary.
I mean, not gonna lie, like you exaggerated that, SWC, but that exact same thing just happened to me very recently, like a few days ago.
Nice.
So the ATP base world record currently is a 12 flat. Flat is in 112.00.00. Like I am talking flat. So while this run was happening and the person running it was in a finale, I was in the background watching it, and I said, I will cry if this 112 flats. That is what I said.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
And then the run became the first ever Pat world record to get a 0000. And he was going for a minute break too, so it was just so tragic.
Off by a single frame.
Oh my god.
Yep.
That's very sad.
It was something else. Oh my goodness. Yeah, he was...
So go ahead.
Oh yeah. Just wanted to like say this category has been very optimized recently by the current world record holder Enhu and me.
I was gonna say a lot of this stuff does not look familiar to me.
Yeah, there's been a lot of more new stuff on lately. Obviously, I'm not doing it right because like the podcast is cursing me as intended.
Yeah.
And but I have been able to show off a lot of it. But yeah,
some
we've
stuff
been
where I'm just like,
optimizing a lot.
wow, that's way easier. Why did we not do that forever?
Yeah.
Like especially in Alpine, there's a couple things where I was like, you can just do that. I think earlier I was like, you can just do that.
Oh, Alpine is such a difficult section of the run. It's it has
hard and it's punishing.
Yeah, it has 7 level 7 8. 7. Math?
4 plus 1 plus 2. 7. No, plus 1. 8.
8. Yeah, it has 8 levels, which is not too much. Most IW's like individual worlds in this game are like 12 to 14 minutes. Alpine is optimally like high 18.
19,
Yeah, 18, 19. It's very long and has very difficult platforming.
I think my favorite speedrunning trope is over-exaggerating how easy a trick is. Or like
Yes.
hyping up a very easy thing. Calling it hard. I do that way too often with fake award.
This is gonna sound bad, but I do really like it when commentators lie.
Ooh, clarify that one.
There was a run.
Provide examples.
There's a run from like GD, I think it was like SGDQ or HQ 2016, I think. And it was like an indie game, and it was based off of like Spanish. I think it was based off like Spanish mythology or something like that.
Ooh, okay.
And the runners, they did a race, and the runners the entire time just made up stuff about what the mechanics of the game are. And like later on, they'd be like, by the way, everything we said wasn't true. They'd be like, all right, so this is a part here where we really want, it's an RNG part, we really want this character to die here because we put a lot of our stats into them. We've been using them a lot, and so if this character here dies, then it's gonna be really painful to finish the run. Okay, we both got the good RNG, and it's because the same character dies every time. Things like that. It is the funniest run I've ever seen because it's like 100% my type of humor.
That's very good.
Yeah, gaslight your viewers. What?
Hang on.
Yeah,
Perfect.
is there a trope of commentators just like going completely off topic and like falling into surreal?
Yes, it's called Corbinate
Conversation.
Yeah,
Commentates.
it's called, yeah.
Because there's a Link to the Past run, swordless run in particular I'm thinking of. I believe it was ran by a runner named Andy a few years ago, and the commentary is just like this surreal, like, I don't even know, it doesn't feel on topic to the game.
No, knowing that runner, that fully checks out.
Out-of-body experience.
Yeah, it really is. Please watch that if you haven't. It's one of the funniest GDQ runs out there.
When I was commentating the Emerald Barrier Blitz, which is like a 20 or 48-hour beat the record competition, so like it's long shifts of the same game over and over again. There were points where runners were in chat were like, "Hey, mate, you want to commentate in the game?" And I was like, "Oh yeah."
48 hours. Oh my goodness.
Well, it's closer to 24. It was 2 12-hour days, but I think it was 2. I think it was like 2 16-hour days or something like that, and you can only run 12 hours a day. I forget the exact rules, but yeah, because when you're commentating the same thing over and over again, like you gotta fill space sometime.
We should do that with a Hat in Time, any percent.
I have done that with a Hat in Time, any percent. In fact.
What? Well, I mean,
Shoutouts to Sobot.
Break the record.
Sobot!
That run is the funniest thing ever.
Cursed run.
We'll have to find the clip of that and also put it in the description.
That's just too much for me to remember.
What do you mean? You'll remember it when you edit these.
I don't watch the video when I edit.
Oh my god, this explains so much about the quality of our podcast.
Wow! At me next time.
At Swoos. This explains so much about the quality of our... This is why everyone's like, the audio's fucked up.
It's not my fault.
We're trying. We're working really hard to fix it.
It's hard.
Y'all doing great. Y'all doing great. Oh, I have to go. Oh, I got that. That was scary.
Easy.
It's a very scary trick. If you fail that, you lose like a minute, potentially. Or have to back to hub. I don't know how delayed it is, but have fun taking a guessing game if what scary trick is about to happen.
What are we about to do?
Supposed to, there's a marathon I'm on staff for going on right now. And like, I have a bunch of pings, and I'm like, oh man, tech's broken, isn't it? And it is broken. And I was like, I'll fix it in a bit. I'm sorry, I'm recording a show.
Alright, I'll like extra speedrun, don't worry.
Okay, thank you. There's only a couple, there's only like what, 2, is it this and then, finale?
Uh, Ooh, I got that. It's like this. Then there's a DPS rift, which is the pink rift for this world.
Right.
Then you have to do a few extra Mafia, like, Mafia 3 levels, which is the third time you enter Mafia Town. And then it's finale, yeah, so
Right, because you haven't done
about
CPR
10
yet.
minutes. Yeah, CTR Mafia picks.
I think I pulled 6 questions for this episode, and we went through all 6.
Ooh.
Because we kind of just spoke to all the questions. So I'll pull up some of the other hat questions now. Versus the hat questions that we already answered, which there were many. I hate this strategy. It's so cursed.
That's a great strat.
Dear PB, howdy. I'm a relatively new hat runner making a push for an any percent time close to 40 minutes, and eventually under 40 minutes. I'm having some trouble coming up with a way to effectively practice this one's gonna be really specific. Effectively practice
Got you.
DSJs. I can nail STJs, but struggle with DSJs, and I feel like it's one of the last tech I need to overcome. What did you do to get good at them, and do you have any tips or any specific DSJs in a level or two that would be best for me to start doing? Thanks.
So, first off, there's a mod that shows you your coyote frames, which is what you use to DSJ. You do a second sprint jump while on coyote frames to your first one. So getting that, first off, is really good. So it lets you know basically when your coyote frames are starting, when you can DSJ. Otherwise, I think the best place to kind of practice is just any blue rift, because they have pretty clear-cut platforms.
Yeah.
And the collision isn't wonky. There's a lot of places where the collision at the end of a ledge, which is what determines when you can DSJ, is weird and doesn't super match the like the graphic, I guess.
Yeah, the hitboxes are messed up.
So that's difficult, but that's kind of on like a base on the specific case by case basis.
Yeah,
but yeah.
The difficult thing about DSJs is like their difficulty depends. Sorry, I got very scared. Their difficulty directly depends on like what ledge you're going off, because this game's collision is something else.
It's different.
It's unique. Like some platform, like where you enter coyote times off, some platforms make honestly 0 sense.
Right.
So you just have to like kind of adapt to it. But yeah, for weird ones, if you're really struggling for like some weird ledges after you learn the blue rift thing, because I also recommend the blue rift thing, I would check out the mod that I don't need to enter there. I would check out the mod that SWC recommended. I need to remember the name of it. It's on Epic Yoshi Master's workshop, though.
Oh, okay, this checks out.
I'll look real quick. I think one of like the specific ones that I've had trouble with is right after the first yarn and down with the Mafia.
Yes.
Going over to the vent there, that one's really weird because you need to do it earlier than you expect. And that's kind of the case for a lot of them.
No, I feel like a lot of times you do it later than you expect, because the hitbox is like too large for like a lot of time.
That's true. Another thing to do is just DSJ everywhere. That's kind of what I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because there aren't many cases where it's not unnecessary to do. Like, you can kind of just do it and get away with it.
This game actually doesn't have single
practice.
jump at some point. Fun fact.
Yeah.
My unhelpful advice is that for me, eventually it just clicked. Like, I tried it enough, and then eventually I was like, oh my god, it all makes sense. Because DSJs aren't actually that precise of a trick relative to like in theory, like STJs are harder, like timing wise, but DSJs are just, it's the only reason that they're actually harder is because they're just specific to every certain ledge. So it's just a matter of like knowing where you need to DSJ, and like once you get and knowing where that hitbox is, and then eventually a lot of people have said this, not just me, but like with DSJs, one day you're practicing and all of a sudden you can just do it consistently.
Yeah, for sure. So the mod is just called Coyote Time Indicator, and for reference, you have 0.2 seconds of Coyote Time, which is like 9 frames, 8 frames, somewhere around there. SUJs are 1 to 2 frames, so yeah, like May said, they are technically harder, but it's also a matter of knowing when to do them.
Yes, very much. Yeah, that
and
mod is
so-
very useful for learning
your game-
DSJs. Then
if your game has mods to help you learn stuff, I recommend you use them. And don't be like me if you're
Yeah.
lazy and be like, wow, why am I bad at this?
That's what I do.
That's what
I
I
don't
do all the
practice.
yeah, that mod wasn't actually around, or when it was actually made pretty recently.
Yeah,
I
it
wasn't
was
around for it.
December last year.
Yeah, I was not around to use that mod. I wish. Like that's actually so good for like figuring out how they work. Cause like for a while I did DSJs, but I didn't like understand how they worked on a technical level still. Like I didn't understand that it was during your coyote time. I just thought it worked because of reasons or whatever.
Yeah,
It kinda
that's
does,
actually good
but-
advice. Is tricks are way tricks are way easier if you. Sorry, again, I'm watching from the past. Tricks are way easier if you understand the mechanics behind them. Because
Yeah.
instead of being like a magic formula to do something, it's like, oh, this is what I'm attempting to do.
Very much. I became like
Yeah.
10 times more consistent at DSJs and TSJs once I understood it was like during coyote time.
Yeah, because you can kind of more so time your jump instead
Yeah.
of just hoping that it works.
Yep. Because that means you can actually do a DSJ kind of late, like not like right when you go off the ledge, but like just generally soon after, and you can
Oh.
still fit one in.
That's
even
a
if it's
different way
not
of getting to
spaced.
this purple rift that isn't the ice hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Like a majority of purple rifts in this game, you do like crazy big skips for and stuff.
But I thought for
but-
Mafia of Cooks, you used to do the ice hat slingshot to get into it.
Oh yeah.
You can. It's still a very new strat. That was also
Yeah.
like December, but yeah, it is
It's-
cool.
It's cool.
Saves like a second.
It's
Oh,
difficult.
is the ice hat
It is
slingshot
hard.
fast? I thought like maybe this was faster.
I think the ice hat's faster, but it's like by a second,
Yeah, it's by a second, and like
and it looks a lot cooler though. So
It is
I think it's
very
worth
cool.
doing.
so. This game has some notoriously bad depth of field.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that makes
It's impossible to hit the rift when you are trying to jump into it.
yes, it's
Shout
very
outs
much
to
hard to hit.
shout outs to Pipe Rift.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, that's kind of just when you get the muscle memory for it and don't worry about looking, or just do it fast enough that you hit the cycle where you just hit the second hook shot and go right to the timepiece.
Oh yeah. Like I always get so scared I'm gonna bonk on like the first gear.
That
Yeah.
too, yeah. Weird.
I just love like missing the timepiece 6 times because I like missed a cycle and I don't know where it is anymore, and I'm just like, get ready.
Yep.
My brain already doesn't. Apparently, my eyes don't work in stereoscopic vision in the first place, and hat and time doesn't add value to that. Like that's actually been really difficult for me in Legends Arceus doing those runs. 'Cause I'm just like, okay, I'm at the right distance to throw this. It's gonna be perfect. And it lands like halfway. And I'm like, okay, well, okay, cool, great, awesome.
Very nice.
Dear PB, I'm a relatively new hat and time speedrunner. I've been having a lot of fun learning and running the any percent route, but then I saw the awesome ESA all timepieces run, shout out to Ava, and want to learn that category. What is the earliest point for an any percent runner to start learning ATP? For example, do you recommend a runner to learn ATP only after they feel comfortable with lag slingshots, SPJs, etc.?
My recommendation is learn the category whenever you want, honestly.
Yeah.
It has a lot of difficult tricks for sure, but there's a lot of like easier ways to like figure them out and learn them. And something I found is if you actually start out running the longer, more difficult categories, then learning the more optimized, smaller categories like any percent is actually so much easier.
Yep.
So
Because you are doing the same thing anyways.
Yeah.
Yep, and
You're doing any percent levels in ATP, so you might as well just get like the full experience.
and even if you don't feel like ready or whatever, you can always like come back to it if you change categories. Like, say you want to start like ATP DLC, then you do any percent, then you do ATP DLC again, and you've improved massively still. So like, never
Yeah,
feel
that's
pressure
kinda what I
like
do.
if you're like ready or not ready for a category, because you can run it whenever you want. You can always go back and improve it or like continue working on it. That's my recommendation, because I actually this is funny. So usually people will learn like the ATP base levels first and then the ATP DLC. When I first learned this game, I did any percent for a bit, then hopped straight to ATP DLC, and I
That's
never
what I did
learned
as well,
ATP base. Yeah.
Because, I mean, you're doing everything for ATP base in
Yeah.
DLC except for gathering pawns, which is my main issue with the category still. I never have enough pawns.
Oh yes, I don't know if yeah, if you're watching the run, you can see I've been grabbing a ton of pawns because
Our timer
ATP base
actually,
requires so much pawns.
Yeah,
our timer actually
'cause you-
covers the pawn count,
Oh no.
Oh no, it
Yeah,
says
so no one can know.
because you can't do the relic duping thing that we talked about earlier. You need to actually purchase each individual relic pad, which is expensive,
very expensive. Whoa.
and you still need to save some to unlock the levels.
Yeah, that's my advice though. If you really want to run ATP DLC, just go for it. Like, there's no real skill level that's stopping you. Because, like, while there is some difficult tricks and stuff and a bit extra tech, there's lots of, like, workarounds to them. Like, the routing is much more flexible than it is for any percent. So there's a lot of, like, different things you can do for certain timepieces if you find one method more difficult than the other. Like, for the Addict TSJ, when you go to Finale, some people do the button presses for that instead still. But, like, they can still run really good at any percent.
Yeah, I mean, like, especially for all DLC, because you'd be doing that jump twice, I feel like if you miss it more than once either time, you just lose time.
Oh my goodness. I got
Nice.
slapped CRNG, but I forgot to take damage, so I didn't
No.
get it. Yeah, so I was supposed to die,
Too focused.
but I forgot to take damage, so I didn't die and lost time. That's okay. That's not even a concern anymore.
Also, in the instance that you start running the category and you're like, this isn't working for me, I need more experience, you can just come back to it.
Exactly. Yeah, like nothing's stopping you from trying it out or going for it.
In a game like this, like, you will still improve it, like, regardless, because we'll just get better at doing all the tricks, so, like, it's not wasting time.
Right.
Maybe
Yeah, like that.
that's the best way to learn TSJs, is to do the category that requires you to
do
TSJ.
Alpine.
Do
Oh
Alpine.
goodness, Alpine requires so many TSJs. We'll warn you. Well, it requires. There's still ways to get around them, but a lot of them are very fast. I will
Yeah.
warn you though. Like if you stick with ATP DLC, eventually you're gonna have to do more TSJs if you're not familiar with that tech.
But if you can do
Yeah.
a DSJ, you can do a TSJ.
Yep.
They're
Sorta,
the same.
yeah.
They're essentially the same thing.
Yep.
I kind
you
of ended up
just.
just like naturally getting better at them by running ATP.
Yep.
It's
You
a good
just
way
kind
to just
of.
learn movement.
You basically stop sprinting in between the first sprint jump of the DSJ and the second sprint jump of the DSJ, and then you get 3 little jumps instead.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's one trick that I can't explain. I just do it. I don't want to explain it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Because honestly, I don't even know if I can explain it. I still haven't figured that one out a ton, I just know it works. Yeah, we're reaching the finale here. I got really good. I got really good cherry phase RNG actually, even though I missed that trick. I don't know what my slap was. I wasn't really paying attention. I think it was pretty good though.
It seemed alright. Yeah,
It was like
solid.
206.
Okay, yeah. 206 and 205 are like
Very
the best
good.
ones you can get. Ooh, I did get shockwaves first. That's unfortunate. If that happens, you lose a lot of time.
That's why I lose time.
Yeah, same.
Only reason. That's what stopped
I
me
hate that
from
I'm
getting a
losing 10 minutes
36.
on shockwaves. It's so unfortunate.
I think you're right. Yeah, you should have world record by now, but it's
I know, but it's just
RNGs.
shockwaves.
RNG's rough. It's hard.
Yeah, you
Yes.
normally want to hit her with like a brew potion and then homing attack into her, and then you can skip that attack because it's very long and hard to hit her out of. But yeah, that's my run. Give May like 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, I'll catch up.
finished.
I'll catch up. You're
That's the
like
run
3 hits
in a
in
little
now.
bit.
3 hits in? Okay,
Oh
okay.
man.
Ooh, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?
What's
What
gonna
RNG am I
happen?
get? What's
You're
happening?
gonna
Up,
you're gonna
up.
advertise. Now's your
I'm
chance to
gonna
advertise for yourself. Go, go, go.
Advertise! Follow me on Twitter and Twitch. I do lots of speedruns on Twitch. Sometimes I just play random games. I actually do art streams too. I'm an artist. Follow me on Twitter if you really like art. I just like drawing like big pieces for random games I like enjoying. Like I did a big one for the Calamity Mod in Terraria recently.
Ooh.
And yeah, that's about all I got.
Follow FMO.
Nice.
You should also follow our Twitter account at
Yes.
twitter.com/DearPBpod. You can also follow us on YouTube. There's a link in the description. We don't have a nice YouTube link yet. Soon.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Soon, Tian.
Our next episode will feature Sanjan, and it's our post-frame Fatals extravaganza.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Very exciting.
You should come watch it. It'll be cool. There will be mass and there will be effect. If
Wow.
you have problems and you need us to help you solve them, then they're speedrunning related or not. You can send in other stuff too.
Generally. We
But-
are not licensed therapists. However, we are
However.
licensed speedrun professionals.
Yes.
Professionals is doing a lot of heavy lifting there, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. You can send it in to the link, the form in the description, or email us at dearpb@maypreak.com. That is dearpb@maybreak.com. Did you give Mustache Girl the timepiece?
I did not. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Good.
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 Proud.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.